Hey everyone, today we're diving into a story you definitely didn't see coming, brought to you by our friend Hater. For the adorable Muramosa sword, he kept opening boxes, saying, "This is the last time." Yet his hands wouldn't stop, with teammates cheering him on. After a night of struggling, Hater spent 300,000 and got the sword, only to wake up joyless, staring at it. Suddenly, the stone gate goes bang, 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 accompanied by a loud noise. Here it is. What's going on here? Wait a minute. The visitor has actually shown up at Hater's house, and it turns out that the house actually belongs to him. But Hater looks like a little abandoned kitten, perpetually unwanted. Now even his house won't take him back. Just as he starts to process that, Rico's phone rings with a special message for him. Rico tells Hater that yesterday he held a seminar titled The Chronicles of Unemployed Men, and it mostly covered 3 types of guys. One type is the gym junkie obsessed with muscle gains, finding all their fulfillment there. The other type is the gamer who completes all these quests, but literally does nothing, all while thinking they are actually busy. Rico told Hater he was too soft-hearted. If he didn't want his boyfriend to continue sinking, he had to toughen up. Gaming is fine, but being obsessed all day would just make one forget reality. Rico had to steel herself and mercilessly pull Hater out of the depths of despair, so she resolutely made the call, and in that fleeting moment, Hater felt as though he had lost everything. Being broke from spending all his money, he could only hang out at an internet cafe. When his teammates invited him to play, he declined. He knew he had to change things up. But when his teammates found out he was at the cafe, they got all curious about which one, eventually even asking which. Hater responded with helplessness, but the very next instant, the booth door was suddenly swung open. What on earth is going on here? Oh no, he never expected to run into a teammate in person, and even more shockingly, the teammate is a girl, curious about why Hater has sunk so low. Hater had to confess spending 300,000 on loot boxes, but with no money for rent, didn't dare ask his girlfriend for help. But then Hater suddenly changed gears, blaming loss for pushing him to get so carried away. Her expression was as blank as ever, but in her mind she was thinking, what a clueless guy. Well, I'm going to sleep now, Hater said, returning to his booth and pondering how he ended up here. Was it really other people's influence? After messing up, they dodge blame others, play the victim. Hater regretted his words. It was just the result of his lack of willpower. He wanted to apologize, but didn't know how to start, tossing and turning all night. Next morning, Hater's phone pinged with Rico's encouragement, so he decided to stop delaying. He arrived at a public workspace and began crafting his resume, but quickly realized he couldn't fill out the needed proofs. Without a place to stay, no legitimate company would hire a homeless person. But then, Paul appeared right in front of him. She dismissed Hater's words and said he had acquaintances at the cafe for job referrals. Desperate for a place to stay, Hater agreed only to find out the job is at a construction site. Hater isn't very strong, so he had to grit his teeth and work through it. Seems like this is his only option for now. By night, he was completely exhausted. His overworked body made it impossible to eat, fearing he'd just throw it all up. But just then, here comes Rico's encouraging message again. He feared revealing his situation, rejected or out of pride, hoping to find a job, and then happily share his success with Rico. Now he thought he shouldn't drag her into his mistakes. Hater crunched the numbers on that day's earnings. After deducting essentials, he was left with just 4,300. Exhaustion and disappointment hit him again. He didn't reply, and Hater lived the 9-5 life after. By day, he worked at the site. At night, he survived in public areas unbeknownst to Rico. The messages Hater left on read made Rico worry. It contradicted their no-contact pact, and she wanted to encourage him in person. But when the door swung open, the person inside wasn't Hater. Rico was furious. What on earth is Hater up to? So, she immediately called Hater, who barely picked up due to exhaustion, leaving him clueless about what he was even saying, once again lying through his teeth. Rico's heart sank upon hearing him, and thinking back to his last state of despair, everyone began to assume the worst. They thought he couldn't handle Rico's restrictions and ended up meeting a new girl online, happily sneaking out of the house. Rico refused to accept this potential ending and instinctively wanted to run the other way. When the bass boy tried to ask about Hater, Rico intercepted him. This is where the misunderstanding begins, evoking a sense of sorrow, and at that very moment, Hater was just slowly opening his eyes after being immersed in deep exhaustion. He found himself waking up in a two-person booth, with Paul right next to him. Hater instinctively rejected the offer and abruptly bolted out of the booth. But Poe quickly pointed out that she felt responsible for Hater's homelessness. If you don't rest well and something happens, what then? She urged, leading Hater to reluctantly agree in the end. The two decided to game together in the booth, and it was Hater's first attempt at using his beloved Miramosa sword. Suddenly, they met a new buddy in the game, the bass boy. The three teamed up for an adventure, quickly bonding, and then the bass boy mentioned he was leaving Tokyo soon and wanted to meet up.